The story begins with Kate, a meteorology student working on her final project alongside her friends. They are researching a tornado in the area, and Kate is fully convinced her project will succeed. Namely, shrinking a tornado using a device called Dorothy, which she has studied for a long time. Not long after, they move toward a storm that most likely will spawn a tornado. They split into two vehicles. Kate is in one car with 4 friends, while another vehicle carries Javi, whose task is to monitor from a distance. When they feel they're close enough, Kate begins preparing her device to shrink the tornado. They experience some trouble at first because Dorothy won't start, but after someone taps on it a few times, Dorothy functions again. Right after that, Kate and the others rush straight into the heart of the storm, bringing Dorothy along, while Javi observes from afar. Problems arise because the storm is too strong, causing the experimental equipment to fall. They have no choice but to put it back in place. At that moment, a tornado forms right behind them. Luckily, they manage to reposition everything. Unfortunately, Kate's experimental device doesn't work at all. In fact, the tornado right behind them grows into a massive one, identified as the largest in recent years. Because of that, their car flips over, and the 4 of them have to scramble for safety on foot. Left with no other option, they choose to seek shelter under a bridge. Without their knowing, one of Kate's friends is swept away by the tornado. On top of that, Kate's best friend is also dragged away by the fierce wind. Kate's boyfriend tries to protect her, but she is forced to let go as he too is pulled away by the tornado's power. In the end, only Kate survives the devastating winds, while everything else in that area is completely destroyed. 5 years later, Kate finally graduates and is now working at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, office in New York City. Soon after, she receives a visit from Javi, who apparently survived that terrifying tornado 5 years earlier. He has come to invite Kate back into tornado chasing, because he currently works for a company that can help save many people by giving advance warning of tornadoes. Additionally, Javi already has all sorts of advanced equipment to help gather tornado data. He really wants Kate on his team, because she understands tornadoes so well. However, Kate refuses, unwilling to risk a repeat of what happened 5 years ago. Besides, she sees news reports about a town that was devastated by a tornado. Eventually, Kate decides to join Javi, but only for a week before returning to New York. Javi, for his part, sells equipment to predict tornadoes and, thanks to investors, he can now pursue his research easily, supported by his sophisticated gear. Soon after they arrive, another team shows up, led by a man named Tyler, a well-known YouTuber who hunts tornadoes. Wasting no time, Javi asks Kate to track the approaching tornado, because she can sense when and where the tornado will appear. Indeed, without using any cutting-edge technology, Kate knows exactly where the tornado is headed, while the other instruments detect it in a different direction. Tyler then approaches Kate, pestering her and asking where the tornado will form. Knowing Tyler is Javi's rival, Kate deliberately gives him the wrong direction. But Tyler is not so easily duped, and starts tailing Javi's team, hoping to find a big tornado for his YouTube content. Javi's team gets to work, placing a device that looks like a panel to gather 3D data from the tornado. Meanwhile, Tyler, who is streaming live on YouTube, casually plans to drive right into the tornado. There's still one more instrument in Kate and Javi's car that needs to be placed near the tornado. Unfortunately, Kate's trauma resurfaces, causing the tornado to pass them by, and Javi's team fails to collect data from it. Meanwhile, Tyler rushes headlong into the tornado and sets off fireworks to thrill his live audience. Kate is frustrated that her fear keeps haunting her. Javi is sympathetic, understanding that Kate has only just returned to the world of storm chasing. That night, while staying at a motel, Kate accidentally bumps into Tyler and his team. Tyler himself, it turns out, is just a regular countryman who also studied meteorology, so he has extensive knowledge of tornadoes. As for his team, they're simply local folks he taught about tornadoes, none of whom attended a university. The next day, Javi is seen talking with his investor. While waiting outside, Kate again encounters Tyler, who's intrigued by her. He's curious how someone from the city could know so much about tornadoes that often strike rural regions. Suddenly, Kate senses another tornado coming. She immediately tells Javi to get ready, while Tyler also prepares to chase the incoming funnel. Kate's forecast proves correct. She explains to Javi how this new tornado will form, just as Tyler explains it to accompanying journalists. Moreover, the newly spawned tornado is not a typical one. It's actually a pair of twin tornadoes, something extremely rare. Those twin tornadoes split in two directions, and according to the data, the one on the right is expected to last longer. However, Kate's instincts say otherwise, and she urges Javi and his team to follow the tornado going left, feeling that one will grow bigger and longer lasting. As a result, Tyler and his team mock Kate for choosing the wrong tornado. Confident in himself, Tyler prepares to enter the tornado on the right. Unfortunately for him, that funnel suddenly dissipates, and his plan is ruined, leaving his viewers unsatisfied. On the other hand, Kate and the rest are relieved and immediately set down their tornado scanner. Bad luck strikes again, though, when the scanner placed by Kate and Javi can't withstand the tornado's strong winds. Meanwhile, both Javi and Kate must endure the fierce twister from inside their vehicle. Even so, they manage to survive and gather data from that tornado. The data reveals that the tornado is heading for a residential area, prompting Kate to insist that Javi drive there to help the locals, although Javi actually wants to go search for the panel he lost. Sadly, the residential area has already been destroyed. Everyone is busy helping one another. Javi drops Kate off, but continues on to find his panel. Tyler and his team also assist the residents. Here, we finally learn that Javi's investor profits from others' suffering by buying up land cheaply after a tornado disaster. That night, Kate becomes convinced that Javi is working for the wrong person. Later, Tyler shows up and tries to comfort Kate by taking her to see a rodeo. During the event, the two grow closer and swap stories about their first encounters with tornadoes. But suddenly, the weather changes drastically, and an announcement is made that a tornado will soon strike, causing everyone to panic and flee. They all rush off in their cars, but Kate and Tyler, unable to leave in time, decide to shelter in a nearby motel. Unfortunately, the motel lacks a basement, so they, along with a mother and her child, hurry to the swimming pool, which is deep enough to provide some cover from the tornado. Tyler attempts to save a motel staff member, but his warning goes unheeded, resulting in that person being pulled into the tornado. The incident reminds Kate of her past trauma. In the end, they survive the ferocious storm, although the motel is in ruins. Soon, help arrives, including Javi, who is startled to find Kate with Tyler. Kate is upset because Javi is working with people who exploit disaster victims, but Javi explains that he feels he had no other choice in order to survive financially. Furious, Kate decides to go back to her mother's home. When she arrives, her mother greets her warmly, and Kate goes to rest. The next day, Kate heads to the barn, where she once did her tornado research during her college days. Looking around, she seems ready to give up on her study. Yet her mother, standing beside her, encourages her to keep going, reminding her that her work can save so many lives. Out of nowhere, Tyler appears, and, strangely enough, Kate's mother invites him to stay over. The three of them eat together, sharing stories about their childhoods. Kate's mother also tells Tyler about Kate's research on how to stop a tornado. Hearing about her work, Tyler grows enthusiastic and offers to help. But Kate, still dispirited, refuses at first. Once Tyler hears more of Kate's past and how she lost her friends, he feels guilty and offers his condolences. But as soon as Kate sees a photo of her late boyfriend, she suddenly springs into action, deciding to resume her research with Tyler's assistance. Shortly thereafter, the two of them set off together, believing that stopping a tornado is theoretically possible. This time, Kate and Tyler head into a tornado to deploy Dorothy's powder inside. Though they make it through the storm, it turns out Kate's research still isn't successful. Later at home, Javi arrives to apologize for his actions. In an effort to make amends, he hands over all the tornado data he has compiled. Thanks to Javi's data, they finally figure out what went wrong in Kate's research. Tyler gathers his entire team to help develop Kate's plan, convinced that if it works, countless lives can be saved. Once everything is ready, they set out to find a tornado to stop. Javi and his team also pursue the tornado to capture more data. The storm gets extremely intense, limiting their visibility and cutting off communications. Suddenly, a tornado appears right in front of Javi, destroying an oil refinery and growing even larger, turning into a fiery tornado. Although Javi manages to escape, the tornado intensifies, now heading for a populated city.
Oh my God.
Tyler and his team rush to the city to help evacuate residents, while Javi's assistant stubbornly insists on acquiring more tornado data. Tired of such greed, Javi decides to leave his assistant behind and instead helps the townspeople get out of the tornado's path. Together, they guide everyone toward a movie theater that might have an underground shelter. Things grow more dire when a piece of metal falls onto Tyler, pinning him in place. Fortunately, Javi arrives just in time and manages to free Tyler so he can get into the theater alongside everyone else. Sadly, there's no basement there, which means they have no choice but to ride out the tornado inside the main auditorium. Kate, knowing how to stop the tornado, decides to go out alone, carrying her device. Javi and Tyler can only watch from a distance as Kate pushes through the raging storm to save as many lives as possible. At last, Kate successfully enters the tornado and fires all her materials into its vortex. Meanwhile, the movie theater starts to collapse, and a few people are pulled into the tornado. But Kate's efforts are not in vain. The tornado finally ceases, and she rescues many lives. Tyler hurries to Kate, finding her in good shape aside from a few scratches. She's overjoyed that her research has proven successful. In the aftermath, Kate prepares to return to New York, though Tyler seems reluctant to let her go. Right when she is about to leave, her flight is delayed due to the weather, causing her to stay put a little longer. Tyler comes to see her at the airport, and the film ends there. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.